following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, the guys tell us what they know from week 2 in the NFL, talk some NBA playoffs, answer a listener question, and as always, they wrap things up with some trivia. All that and more. On to the show. Let's get it. Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Chill, cool, out, money, West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up, keep it real, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me now. Who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, but get out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? This ain't the Defy Life. Told you. This is the Shy Life. I'm gonna let this ride out though. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This episode 174, y'all come on in, wipe your feet, close the door behind you. I'm your host, J.R. Glenf, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glenf, Thomas Stevens. What's good with you, Al?
Man, I'm sorry. I'm a little late, a little tired. I just got back from an interview as a special teams coach for the Falcons. Apparently they need a consultant.
Was that shit first come, first serve?
Yo, it was a long-ass line. It was a long-ass line of folks saying, I could do a better job than that. Bruh.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, good luck to you, and for your sake, I'm hoping you don't get the job. I need you to have some job security.
Hey, okay. Hey, I might be the most secure job ever, because, at this point, that guy to go, and whoever replaces him, let him hang out for a minute. So it's the other folk that you wonder how long are they gonna be there. So,
I don't know.
Was actually doing a little checks in with Keon because he a Falcon fan and I'm a Cowboy fan, so we had a couple of lines going back and forth yesterday after the game. So he one thing I remember from the podcast is he wasn't too big on firing Dan Quinn and Dimitri. He was definitely I'll trust the process type of a guy. Art Blank thinks he's all right, then I'll go with him. So he's still there, but definitely disappointed. Like the whole Falcon Nation is disappointed. So. But I'm good. Everything being everything, because this would have been a whole nother vibe after that if they had lost that game, because it was such a terrible start. But we'll get into that.
Absolutely. Well, good. Glad we don't have to confiscate your shoestrings and belts and all that shit. So,
it was bad. It was bad for the game was a 60-minute game, 58 minutes and 30 seconds of it. I was definitely like, oh, this is not looking good. But but I also, like I was telling my wife that night, this is also where I miss coaching, because these are the type of games that I would point to with my players to help them understand this is why you continue to fight. This is why, regardless of how much time is left, you continue to put pressure on the other team, because you just don't know. And I tell them all the time, I've seen some crazy things in sports over the years. So you just got to keep fighting to the whistle. And that's what happened. And so, but anyway, all of that, everything being everything, I'm here and doing good. And it's good to be here. What's up, fellas?
Cool. Pooh, what's good, man?
Nothing, man. Chilling. Ready to get in, man. Let's get it.
Word. Well, good, man. Like always, before we get too deep into the heart of the show, we want to give a shout out, get a little bit of house cleaning, give a shout out to our patrons. This is a special shout out for us all. My patron of the week, These are always randomly selected. And this week it happened to land on my sister. Keisha Glenn is our patron of the week. Shout out, Keisha. She has had a profound impact on all of our lives here and across the network. Within, the business part of this and in our personal lives. So we love you, Key. Shout out to you and thank you for supporting the network. People always ask, what's the best way to support the network? Go to patreon.com/Go Defy Life and become a patron of Defy Life. You can help support our growth, allow us to host events, and continue to work in our communities. For less than your favorite fast food combo, you can support Defy Life. So check out DefyLifePods.com for all of our podcast content. For all of our written content, go to the granddaddy of them all, go to DefyLife.com. And for our podcast and network apparel, our branded apparel, go check out DefyLifeGear.com. And again, go to patreon.com/Go Defy Life. So check out any of our websites to check out our content, or you just want to support. We appreciate from the bottom of our hearts. Al, did I cover everything?
Bruh, you covered it. Bingo, on the money. Good job.
I feel like LeBron. I was everywhere with it. Dishing, assists, dunking on.
Man,
I'm doing it all out here. So, all right. Yeah, man. So, speaking of which, it's playoffs still going on in the NBA. We are in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, respectively. We haven't talked about. We talked about Milwaukee, the number one seed in the East, being ousted by the Miami Heat. But we hadn't got a chance to talk about the Clippers actually being eliminated. They were going into Game 7. You guys both picked the Nuggets. My dumb ass picked the Clippers. And they proceeded to show up like the Clippers have been showing up, inconsistent, and got whooped by, to me, a better Denver team. Pooh, what do the Clippers stay put next year and try this thing the same way again, or do they recognize where their flaws are?
Nah, man, I got to try to bring something else in. I heard today that they're trying to bring in Derek.
D Rose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you don't sound that excited.
No, I think Derek played well. I think he averaged 19 a game. He played very well. Looked explosive. First time, I think he played like 90% of his games, even though they didn't play a full season, but he played like 90% of the games. That's more than he played in a while. So he felt good. He said, he's ready to go. So I hope he go. I hope he goes. I hope he stays healthy because I don't want the Lakers to win. So, that's that.
Right. So, Al.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this last week about Giannis. And I posted this on Facebook last week. So I'm old enough to remember when certain folks, like you, said Kawhi is the best player in the league.
I said that.
But at the time, I get it. He may have been playing the best of the players that were remaining. And we did have that discussion. So I got where you were coming from. But to see those ups and downs of players, have those ping pong, like we say, like Mike Tomlin would say, popcorn years, where they pop up, have a great year, and then another player randomly pops up, have a great year. Just different players. Does that make you appreciate the greatness of a LeBron or the Kobe's or the Michaels who sustained it for so long that we kind of take them for granted?
Without a doubt. But, to be fair, the superstars have down years for their standards as well. So that's, we talk about the Kobe's, the LeBrons, even Michael. You look at their careers, there were years where I'm sure they would say, this wasn't my best year. But still, that doesn't, to answer your question directly, though, without a doubt, the sustained greatness of LeBron, Kobe's, Tim Duncan's, the guys we can just mention, and it's a long list. It's something to marvel at. And I think while I still think the best player in the game is a year by year designation, and you prove it on the court. But I think that being said, somebody can be the best player that year, but not the best player of the era or the decade or the last. So he Kawhi didn't prove it on the court as the best player in the game this year, and he really disappointed me. While I still picked Denver, I thought Kawhi would have had a better showing those last two games. And hey, that's what happened. You don't show up, you don't get called best player, and you usually are home fishing.
Yeah, and I'll say it again. I really wish I could get that same energy for that best player that we do for the other best player we're talking about. Because if Bron had showed up like Kawhi did for that Game 7, we'd be talking about this for the next 10 years.
But I think we'd be talking about it for the next 10 years is because while we are, critiquing Kawhi for his performance, we don't have a Kawhi defender on here that would sustain the conversation for 10 years like we did when we were critiquing LeBron when we were talking with you.
When I said we, I meant like the world. I ain't mean
just my bad.
Because the world still talks about LeBron not showing up against the Mavs in Game 7.
Don't they though? Like I still bring that shit up.
Right. I ain't mean I meant we as a society. That's what I meant. What
about with the Mavericks?
Right.
Mavs though. Like, really? That was 2 years ago. Oh. But yeah. I mean, I think to your point, but I think that comes with LeBron being LeBron. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have that furor of defense and critique. That you're gonna have that on one side. You're gonna have the supporters, and so I think that just comes with it. And I think really it talks to how great he really is. The fact that he has such passionate supporters and detractors.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you just say haters.
Haters.
Yeah, and a couple things before we move in. We mentioned the other greats. Shout out to Michael Jordan for becoming the second black owner, majority owner of a NASCAR team. Him and Bubba Watson. Yeah, where Bubba will be driving Michael's car next year. So shout out to Mike for that. For becoming a NASCAR owner. And shout out to ESPN has an article on behind the scenes, a little bit, some deeper stories, although we've heard a lot of them, some newer stories and from a different angle on the Kobe and Shaq days from the Lakers. A little bit of background on both their childhood, so just a different angle on the story, so definitely check out ESPN for that cover story. Anything Kobe we can get at this point is a blessing. So
it's a blessing.
All right. So definitely.
Did you hear the rumors about, or I don't know if they were substantiated or not, but like the pushback Paul George was getting from some of his teammates, like after the series was over?
No, all I saw was the meme was Kawhi looking at him like, so who started calling you playoff P?
That's funny. But apparently, he was just talking about, coming back. And so basically advocating to, I guess, some of the free agents or just some of the players like, we got to come back and, we're going to try it again. And just a few of the players, they said, were like kind of rolling their eyes and not really buying into what he was saying. I don't know if it was because of his performance. I don't know if it was because he done left a couple of teams to jump from team to team to team and got paid. So I'm not really sure where that came from. But, I just find that consistent with what I've been hearing over the last year or so, that there's just people don't believe in Paul George.
I can see why. I didn't see that, but I saw Charles Barkley got some flack Stephen A. Smith, your boy, called some flack about comparing Paul George to Dwight Howard and saying that Paul George is close to becoming the next Dwight Howard, and all hell broke loose. People had to remind, basically he was saying, I get what he was saying on the surface, that, you go from team to team and finally you become a hated guy on a team and it just don't work out and your reputation goes to shit. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But what Stephen A. seems to forget, and a lot of people reminded him on Twitter, is that Dwight Howard's a Hall of Famer. Dwight Howard's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Dwight Howard went to the finals without going to a new team. Like, Dwight Howard was the best big man in the league at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Paul George wishes he could have Dwight Howard's resume. So it's those kind of things. Paul George is in danger to me of becoming a Josh Howard, a guy who's like underrated for so long that he becomes overrated. And,
wow, I had to try to remember who Josh Howard was, but yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, I remember like he was a baller, and everybody was like, he's so underrated, but he never took that next step and never could lead a team, and he just became overrated because everybody kept saying he was underrated for so long. Like a guy like that is kind of where Paul George is headed to me, because it's been 3 teams now he hasn't been able to get him over the hump, and even with having major talent around him.
And I think it's, I mean, honestly, there's a few of those players with the Clippers that are going to get the label of overrated. Mm-hmm. And I think what we do often in sports is we project out in terms of future success based on past success. Right. And oftentimes players can diminish like as they get older real quick, and I'm not saying that's what happened necessarily in this case, but I think that's part of it. Mm-hmm. But I also think with the Clippers, I think part of it was the gelling of a team. Mm-hmm. People just underestimate what that can be. And that, when you're adding so many different pieces to the puzzle, it just doesn't happen as quick as people think. And when you have a veteran team, I think people tend to just assume it's going to happen. But I think the other side of a veteran team, the other side of that coin, is that they tend to rest. They tend not to buy into the team building stuff a lot of times. They just think it's silly and just like, look, we just want to come and hoop, and we're going to turn it on. We're going to flip the switch. I don't know if that works in an environment like the bubble where it's a neutral court and it's no energy boosting thing to happen. So. Yeah.
And Pooh, how much do you? And we talked about this when the bubble started. The bubble first opened up, and we talked about our favorites in the East and the West, and we gave both sides of the coin for the Clippers. How big of an ingredient do you think that was? Them first having a lot of injuries throughout the regular season, then having the COVID break up the season, and then now being in a new environment in the bubble, just not having a lot of playing time together, even though it's a veteran team. How much do you think that affected them?
I mean, some points they didn't look like it was a lot of cohesiveness, but I can't say that I really think that I think it had them. Well, the only person that really looked well, I think Paul, he just didn't put together, he just didn't play well. Kawhi was, he played well up into, the last 2 games of the series, but they couldn't get anything from Hot Wings Lou. It was the guys just didn't play well, man. I don't think they are as talented as we, I guess bestowed them out to be. I mean, yeah, they had Kawhi. Yeah, they have George, but after that, they have a lot of like average guys. So they're not. I don't think they're just not as talented as we thought they were, or as people thought they were. But I do want to say this real quick. I didn't think about Dwight Howard's resume as you said it. Now that you said I have an autographed ball from the All-Star game by, from Dwight Howard. He was hosting. It's from Orlando. I know it's a side note, but
can I borrow that for a second?
Hey, I was just about to say if whoever's listening, they're a fan, definitely contact. I definitely will pull it on the selling block.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Well,
Yeah,
once we
man.
win this championship, hold
Right.
on to it after the ring because it's gonna go up in value after we win this
It will.
championship.
All right.
There you go. You think so? Or after he makes the Hall of Fame, I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
even think.
Mhm.
I didn't even think about that, Jake.
Yeah. And Dwight Howard's a shoe in Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
He is.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, now he's older and injuries kind of sapped his athleticism, but I mean, he's, still fairly athletic, but he was fun to watch in Orlando.
Oh
Yeah, no, he was the man at that
Yeah.
point because they were hosting, so he was the host guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was walking
amazing
around.
ups.
Yeah.
It was, what, 2012, I think.
Uh-huh.
He
and
he was in the MVP running and all.
Right. He beat Bron to get to the finals. So, they beat the Cavs, but,
Right.
top
Right.
team from each top player from each team, but yeah, man. But it's funny you say that because remember when the Lakers signed Dwight or even before they signed Dwight, and there were like rumblings that they were, and people were almost laughing at the idea of
Right.
signing Dwight Howard,
Mm-hmm.
and
Because he was broke up.
right. But we had the conversation here that if he's healthy, he could be a gem of a signing because
Yeah.
if because he's going to buy in at that point. He's been humble to the point that he's going to buy in on a championship team, and going in, he knew that he wasn't expected to be one of the top 5 player on that team.
But
Right.
credit to Dwight because how many veterans say that?
Hall of Famers, right?
Say I'm gonna buy in. This my last shot. I'm gonna give it. And then they get there and they nut up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Credit to him because he really has embraced this opportunity to just play a role and just excel at it. And the game the other night where he was straight trying to punk Joker and just bully ball him, and to me, that's the essence of playing the role of I am now the wily veteran that for 4, 5, 6, 7 games, however often it takes to get this ring. Trust me, I'm gonna be the best of me at this, and I'll look back at this ring. It's gonna be special. I wasn't the dude like I was when I had a chance, years ago, but look, it's gonna be a special one because I definitely made a mark and was part of why we won. So shout out to him because a lot of veterans don't do that.
Absolutely, and I'm sure he'll appreciate this when they get to the finals. He'll appreciate it a lot more this time. And too, like you said, we've seen it countless times in all sports. Where veterans go and say it's my last shot. We saw Chad Ochocinco go to the Patriots and didn't even take time to learn the playbook. Stuff like, we've seen, or even guys that do buy in, but they just can't do it anymore. We've seen an old beat up stiff Ron Artest or world, whatever, Meta World Peace.
Meta World Peace.
Get a last shot with a championship level team and just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So the fact that Dwight can still get it done and he's still buying in speaks volumes of how much he's grown. So.
And I think it also speaks to the LeBron effect, the Rondo effect,
right.
Playing with
Laker effect.
The Laker effect, all of the Lakers he might have access to speaking to talk with, to be part of that franchise. I think all of that could be a factor in the version of Dwight Howard that we are witnessing this year. And it's good to see because to me, this is one of his best years, in terms of, how effective are you in the role that your team has asked you to play. Right. He's been extremely effective.
Yeah. So for all you, and shame on Stephen A. Smith because what I'm about to say, he's not even in this group, but for all you basketball fans under 25, Dwight Howard was a beast at one point. So don't think this is the Dwight Howard that he's always been, and even this one ain't bad.
No, he's not that bad to me.
Not bad at all.
No, he's not that bad
at all. But that just shows you how great he was in his day before injuries. In basketball, I guess sports in general, can take that from you. And if you know, when you're young or just learning the sport, being exposed to the sport, you might not have seen somebody 10 years ago. But yeah, Dwight Howard was that dude.
Yeah, no doubt. So over
and can shoot free throws now.
Yeah,
Hold
right.
on.
Yeah, and he can
Another
shoot free throws.
testament to
Absolutely.
to the player that he has worked himself into being.
You're right.
Like, I'm seeing him knock down free throws like, oh, word, y'all follow me? And to the point that the announcers aren't even bringing up the fact that, 10 years ago, there was a strategy where teams would foul that man right because he only made 40% of his free throws. Right. Now he's just standing up there like, boop, boop. And not like he ain't 95%, but it seemed like.
Right. He's 70 plus.
Right. It seemed like he's 90% compared to who he used to be.
You're right. Because there used to be an adventure at the free throw line for him. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Oh, man. But yeah, so over in the East, the Miami Heat, again, continuing to dominate. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead against the Celtics. Celtics took game 3. So the Heat now are sitting at a 2-1 lead in the East. And you figured that they would do for a down game, the Heat. And, they kind of, the air was out of their sails in the second half of game 3. But all in all, Miami doesn't look like an underdog to me. Pooh, what do you think? Pooh, you Allen over there?
Well, I'm Allen. My bad. Yeah, I was Allen. No,
Allen, son, you Allen.
No, they definitely don't. They, like I said, they scrappy. They hit shots. They didn't hit any shots the other night, but they started to hit shots and they got themselves back in it. But I think they poised to take it home, man. I just think, I'm sold. I'm sold. I think I like them. I like what they look like.
Al, what are your thoughts in the East, man?
Man, I think, this is going to be one of the best series of the playoffs. I still think it's going 7. I still I think I picked Boston in 7. But I just love this matchup. And if I could write the script, I would have Boston winning the next game and then make it the best out of 3 and still go 7. But I think these teams, Gordon Hayward is back. That definitely adds another dynamic scorer on the Celtics team, somebody who could hit shots. And, when you have a Jaylen Brown and a Tatum penetrating and Kemba penetrating and having to be able to kick it out to Gordon or even have Gordon with the rock and running the offense when Kemba is on the sitting down, I think this is a good asset for the Celtics to have. So I'm not really expecting it to still go 7. I love the Miami showing. I think, Bam has been amazing. The shooters have been better than I thought they were. Like, right. I knew I knew is it Robinson? I think I heard of him and seen a little bit of him, but he's better than I expected.
Right.
And even was it Dragic? The lefty, the lefty point guard. Yeah, he's shooting better than I remember. So, they're for what you want out of your team, especially the role players, is y'all to basically play better and step up. And I think that's what we're seeing. And I think that's part of Jimmy Butler effect, Pat Riley. I just think they're building confidence in these guys to where there's no home, there's no away crowd to take it away. We're just seeing it really develop and in front of our eyes. So it's been great to watch. Good basketball. Somebody I was talking to compared Miami, their style of basketball, to Golden State, the way Golden State plays. And I hadn't seen it like that. So I told him, look, next time I watch the game, I'm going to watch it with that in mind to see if I see what you see. But I do understand it in the sense of there is a lot of sharing of the ball, and it's not necessarily we have one person who's always gonna get all the shots or something like that. So I can understand that, but still, I think it's a great series and one of styles that it's fun to watch.
All right.
No, yeah, I definitely dig it. If put it like this, I'm gonna say this. I definitely still I want Miami in 7. I selected Miami in 7. However, I think we're gonna get what we're gonna get out of Brown. We're gonna get what we're gonna get out of Tatum. However, if Kemba, I think if he can get up, into the 20s, I think they'll pull it out. And I remember Jake was saying if Kemba's the best guy out there, they can't win. But I think Kemba has to be. He has to play up to that level because he's not being the Kemba of old. I mean, he's hitting shots, he's driving, he's penetrating, but he's not letting it go.
Right.
Like Kemba old, and he has to let it go for them to get to the finals. Kemba's gonna have to let it go.
Okay. So Al, you got Boston in 7. Pooh, you stay Miami in 7.
And it feels funny when I said it. So I'm gonna have to go listen to the old show just to confirm who I have. But for right now, like when I said, I think I said, did I say Boston? I said Boston.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I said Heat right after you, and everybody said, "Ooh,
Right.
the Heat."
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Boston, and that's how it's been one of them series that maybe I have been flip flopping as I'm watching. I'm like, dang, I kind of like Miami,
because it's tough to pull against Miami. Just the way they play, it's tough to pull against them, even if you didn't pick them. It's you find yourself cheering for them.
Yeah, true indeed.
All right, so we're gonna swing back to the West. Pooh, Lakers already up 2-0. What's your pick with the West?
Nah, Nuggets in 7.
Oh, okay.
Nah, man. Of course, I'm rooting for the Nuggets.
Hold on. Time out. Let me just make sure. There's only 5 games left, right? You saying they're gonna win 4 out of 5, son?
I'm rooting. I'm rooting for the Nuggets, but I'm gonna probably say that it's gonna be the Lakers. I'm gonna say Lakers in 6, man.
Okay.
I think they're gonna scrape up two dubs.
All right. Al, where are we going?
Definitely Lakers. So I don't want to be like rude with it because it might be personal because my son's a Nugget fan.
Right.
So we've been beefing about this for like a week. Actually, and it's like I told him a few days ago. Me and him really have projected the Nuggets and Lakers as like rivals at this part of like in the 2020, 21, like we were like, at some point, Murray, Joker, and the Lakers, we're gonna be battling in the playoffs, and here we are. Wow. So it is kind of a little personal. So I'm gonna say Lakers gonna win in 5. I won't go with the sweep. I'll go with 5. But I just think that they have the size and the shooting has been pretty consistent. And there's so many, like the Lakers have what you want in a playoff run, which is every game is somebody else that's kind of having good games to support LeBron and AD. And, one game is Dwight Howard. You don't expect him to be that guy. Another game is Caruso. Wow, you didn't expect him to be making them plays. Like, game 3, it might be Kuzma. Rondo has been playing well consistently. So I just think they're a bad matchup for the Nuggets. Even with Murray and Joker having great playoff runs, your depth, a lack of depth when it compares to our squad is going to show to be your weakness. I just can't hang when we got these guys playing well. I mean, Dan Green hitting consistent shots, getting in the passing lanes. Like, these are guys who've done it, and when they playing this way, I don't think, they don't have a shot to win this.
Yeah. It's tough for a team like Denver because when a team like when a young team like this, so many things have like gone right for them. They've gotten to look at a lot of good bounces, and to get to this point, if they just get annihilated in this series, they could do a lot to crush, their psyche moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good for them that they made Game 2 interesting. It took a last-second 3 to beat Denver, and they're up by 9 in Game 3 right now. So looks like they're still mentally in it, but if they get crushed in this series, it's going to be tough for them moving forward to see how they react.
Yeah, I could definitely see some change happening, but not with the stars, because
right.
Nuggets is going to hang on to them. But some of the role players, they might try to tweak and tinker and say maybe move on from a Gary Harris or something like that. Although I like the way he plays.
Right.
But yeah, they're a young team though. So when me and my son was talking that trash years ago, we really were talking it thinking with the Lakers it was going to be Ingram, Kuzma, Ball. Like that was a team. I'm like, and to his point back then, he was like, well, Dad, my young players better than young players. So when we get there, we're gonna murk you, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I was like, nah, son, nah. Like I was a BI believer, like, nah, Ingram gonna be that dude, and Ball gonna get better, and blah blah blah. But the way it's playing out, he was right. Like Murray and Joker are hard to handle, and would have been given that young Laker team the business right now. I think they would be running through this young Laker team, but we got Bron and AD now, so it's a whole different conversation.
Right. Well, again, thank God for the bubble. Thank God for them figuring out a way to bring us playoff basketball, because I don't think anybody predicted that it would be this good. With teams coming back and not knowing who was in shape and how teams are going to be looking. So good, man. I'm glad it's back, and we still got 2 good series left and the finals. So we'll see.
Yeah, with some interesting matchups pending with the finals. So
right. Oh, all right. On to the NFL again. Every week we're saying this now because I'm so appreciative of the fact that we got NBA playoff basketball going on the same time. Early NFL action is going on. So we have week 2 of the NFL to talk about, and after the NFL play in the NBA playoffs. Like this is so amazing. So I'm gonna ask the question I ask every week. Pooh, you first. What do you know after week 2 in the NFL?
What do I know? I know after week 2 in the NFL. Oh, man. The game is precious, man. I definitely know that. I've seen a rash amount of injuries. Guys go down, big time guys. The game is precious, man. And every once in a while, just as a viewer, you take for granted of watching it or watching a player. So the game is precious, man.
Absolutely. Al, what do you know after week 2?
Well, first, I know that while you mentioned basketball, you mentioned football, some of us is feeling this baseball about to go into these baseball playoffs right now. Right. And while it ain't been a bubble, they don't put 60 good games, well, 50 some right now. We're about to hit 60 for us baseball fans to get us through the summer. And as a Yankee and Dodger fan, they are like, the Dodgers are the favorite to win it all, and the Yankees are right behind the Astros in terms of who's coming out the East. But all that to say, I'm advocating for Al's baseball segment. We might be due for a little Al's baseball segment in the future. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, have one of those next week.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Oh.
What do I know about football? I'm with Pooh. Like, it is a precious game, and I'm so glad that it's here, and appreciate the players because the injuries are something that we projected, but now seeing as players are falling, and you actually see who's actually being taken out. Like, these are major losses to the franchise and to the game. Like, I'm not a Giants fan, but I do enjoy watching Saquon Barkley run that rock. And so for him to go out for the season is not something that I was happy about because I enjoy seeing him perform. Boza as well, so it's been some tough injuries over the last 2 weeks. I think that's something I know that some of these teams, as we get to the end of the season, it's going to be who was able to survive. Mm-hmm. And some of the teams at this point who we're thinking are going to be there at the end as these injuries happen, some of the players that we just can't foresee, I don't think some of those teams are going to make it, right? So that's part of it. I joked earlier about the Cowboys and Falcons. Like, that was just an amazing game to watch because we started out about as bad as a team can start out a football game and still was able to win. And credit to Dak. I was talking about how, last week was an opportunity for him to show that I'm that money guy, and he didn't get the win. This week he did. And I appreciate it's only been 2 games, but one of the things I thought he did a lot of last year was hold on to the ball too long. And I don't see that so far in these first 2 games. He's definitely getting rid of the ball. Maybe it's because our offensive line has so many injuries, so he has to. But I think I'm seeing a little progress in my quarterback, so that's a good thing. Anything else I know? Russell Wilson is the man.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson is that dude. And
my MVP pick.
Okay, shout out to you. And he would be my MVP of the first 2 weeks. But, that's who we play next, the Cowboys. So I was talking to my uncle. He was like, "Oh, we losing that game." Uncle Wall was a Cowboy fan. He's objective enough to know, yeah, don't expect to win that one. But he's playing so good with the ball, and his decisions and his accuracy on deep passes. One of my favorite players to watch. So other than that, shout out to the Raiders. They won a big game last night. So I got a few homeboys and family members who's Raider fans. I know they didn't expect to beat the Saints. Well, some of them did actually, but hey, that was a big win, big upset. I didn't expect that. So
that's just a
that's what I
to
know.
how crazy Raiders fans are. Some of them was expecting to win. So that's just crazy.
They are that crazy. Yeah. They are that crazy.
So, yeah, man. But yeah, y'all mentioned the injuries, man. I can't remember a week. And Pooh, I absolutely agree. Like, it's a precious game, and it's precious moments watching special athletes. And I can't remember the last time. I'm just gonna run down a list of it. If I miss somebody, let me know. But we're looking at Saquon Barkley, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas.
I hadn't heard him.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Adams from Devontae Adams. Got hurt.
From the Packers?
Yeah. He's out for 2 to 4 weeks. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, yeah. His hamstring.
Yeah.
And those, as you name, are like all top 5 picks.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking at Jimmy Garoppolo. Was it Kyle Fuller? The one who got hurt? Or Corey, or the other Fuller. Kendall Fuller. Will Fuller. Will Fuller got hurt.
Not my Fuller.
Yeah, Will Fuller. Yeah. Drew Lock, Raheem Mostert.
Oh yeah.
Cortland Sutton. Player after player. Like, it was.
Malik Hooker, safety for the Colts, out for the season, and their other running back, Mac.
Oh yeah, Mac's
hurt.
hurt.
He been hurt. Yeah, he hurt. He got hurt last week. But this was like
Tavon Young,
Kittles,
Brandon
Scherf.
Scherf.
That was last week.
Byron Jones got hurt.
The
Yeah.
cornerback.
Yeah. Tyrod got hurt.
Damn.
Anthony Barr, Brandon Lindler,
Ups.
Paris Campbell. Yeah, right. Bruce Irvin. Like it's just name after name.
Name after name after name. And Jay, when I saw it, when I thought about all the injuries, there's only one thing could come to my mind, man. And not like I guess a spin on Black Monday, but Black Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all I thought about. That's all I could think about.
So let me ask y'all played. Do you think it's because I've heard people say, well, this is what happens like in the first couple of weeks of preseason to where there's a lot of injuries that happen that first week or two or maybe even 3 as people are getting adjusted. And because there was no adjustment period of full speed contact, they just jumped right into it, full games. That's so that like in a month or 2 we won't be seeing this, or is this what we should expect because of the conditioning and lack of games? Like this might actually carry out through the season. Like, what do y'all think is more likely to happen?
Yeah, go ahead, Pooh.
I mean, I personally just think it's the luck of the draw, man, because the things that happen when you haven't had a lot of, full contact things or things of that nature, those are mostly like soft tissue injuries like hamstrings, biceps, things like that. But when someone's getting hit and their leg is stuck in the ground, that's gonna happen if you played, 0 games or 15 games. That's just by chance.
Right.
And Paris Campbell took the hit on the knee. That was just by chance. Bosa, leg stuck in the ground. That's just by chance. Saquon, his knee just gave. So those things that's just the luck of the draw, man. That's a tough hand right there. That's a tough card.
Gotcha.
Yeah, one thing I will say though, and I do agree with Pooh, that sometimes it's just, shit happens. It's football. It's injuries. It's part of the game. But, with players not being able to play football for so long, that was like really 6 months of not being able to play football that they would have been playing football in order to stay in shape. A lot of these guys were lifting weights. And that puts a lot of stress on your joints, and it creates a lot more stiffness. And with not being able to play football, some of those guys who maybe caught their leg in the foot got caught in the ground, maybe they'd be able to explode a little more if they'd been playing football versus lifting weights. So but again, we always see more injuries. Early in preseason and training camp starts just because, your body takes time to get adjusted to being hit like that, every, 20, 30 times a day, every day. So, right now it's those bodies getting back acclimated to being hit like that and getting into car crashes every week. It's exactly, like essentially what happens. And then, eventually the numbers kind of, lean back to the median. So that'll happen too, I think, as the season goes on, once guys get, and their bodies get reacclimated to being hit. And being pounded on all day, and the just the pounding of the feet on the ground, like on your joint, everything. So I think it'll lessen out as the year goes, but I think the offseason definitely had a lot to do with how many injuries we're seeing.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I can agree with both of y'all's take. Just bees like that, and hopefully, it will decrease. And when I talk just for the Cowboys' perspective, it hasn't hit us. We've had some injuries. We had to start our 4th and 5th best tackle on Sunday, and it was that first couple of drives. I was like, "Oh, buddy, it's gonna be a long day." But as the injuries would happen, the guy who was putting a lot of pressure on us, Tack, was it Tack McKinley? I think his name is the defensive end. He gets hurt and he's out the game. So it's like, well, all right, now we're going back up against backup, and that definitely helped. But yeah, I hope these injuries will definitely decrease.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see y'all reached out to Jared Veldeer to see if he wanted to sign on, and he retired. He was like, fuck that, I don't want to be a Cowboy. I'm retired. So, I don't know who y'all going to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we'd be in bad shape because, David DeCastro was out for the first 2 games, and then his backup, Stefan Wisniewski, got hurt. And so we had a rookie to start at right guard this week, Kevin Dotson. He's actually, a rookie guard from Louisiana Tech, and he was the first player to get drafted this year that didn't get invited to the combine. So that's where his notoriety came from. And he was our best lineman last week. So shout out to Kevin Dotson, man. Got a game ball. Was able to give it to his dad. His dad's a lifelong Steelers fan. So, shout out to Kevin Dotson. Anytime we get a rookie come in, and especially a 4th round rookie come in, and can not hear his name on the offensive line, not hear his name called the whole game. That's a good thing.
Well, I think this is going to speak to, because like what you're finding is where the type of training that did occur was a lot of like Zoom calls and a lot of like mental preparation side of it. So, I'm wondering if that different type of preparation might have a benefit for some of these younger players who, are able to just step right in. Because, to your point, the 2 Cowboy tackles, one was like an undrafted dude, like Steele was undrafted, and this is his 2nd game ever. And the other guy, Brandon Knight, I think was his first or 2nd game ever, and just able to, hey, you playing today, get in there, and have, for the most part, a decent showing. I think that just speaks to these guys are being well prepared as coaches. So, and I forgot. I said the Cowboys hadn't been hit, but I forgot Van Der Esch has been out. He's gonna be out for a couple of months, and then we also lost our best cornerback this week with a hamstring and a woozy. So we'll see if he's ever to ball. So, yes, it's all over. Injuries are everywhere throughout the league.
So we're gonna jump into commercial. Well, Pooh, before we do that, I want to keep a chart of the season. We know what he looked like in week 1. What's the Mitchell Trubisky chart looking like? What do you do this week?
Man, he played a better game. I mean, he played a better game from Mitchell standards.
Okay.
So I guess that's a start. We had a few 3rd down conversions, and we had a few each quarter. So that's a plus. We didn't go a complete, quarter without a 3rd down conversion passing. So, baby steps, man.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to jump into commercial. When we come back, we are going to answer a listener question and do this trivia thing. So, we'll be right back.
We're told that greatness is exceptional when it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go be you. Go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit defylifegear.com to get fitted for greatness.
Welcome back. Again, go check out defylifegear.com for all of our branded apparel. Winter is coming. Fall is here. So, you need hoodies, long sleeve tees, sweatshirts, jackets, scullies, hats, all that stuff. Go check out defylifegear.com and go get fresh for the fall. So, we got a pretty interesting listener question this week. It is from Dennis in Kernersville, North Carolina. Dennis wants to know, Pooh, who are your favorite, not necessarily the best, but who are your favorite 5 athletes of all time, regardless of sport? This should be fun. I'm interested to see what it's going to look like.
Favorite 5 athletes of all time. Deion Sanders. Barry Sanders. Walter Payton, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan of all time. That's 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but let me give an honorable mention, man, to Aaron Foster. I really had an infinity. Aaron Foster and Derrick Rose. Let me
I'm
give an
about to say,
honorable
what about
mention.
D Rose? All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right.
Who? Aaron Forster? Who's that?
Arian Foster,
Running back.
running back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember him.
Okay.
Man, let me shout out D Hess too. Gotta shout out Devin Hester.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the only player I just want to say this. That's the only player ever that I was like had a huge man crush on, and I wanted us to draft him, and we drafted him. Like I was jumping up and down
Man, that's
wheels.
the best feeling, man.
Dude, that's the best feeling, man. So you can only imagine if we would have drafted Deshaun Watson, like how I would have felt.
Right. Yeah. Like that. Oh man, that's the best feeling. Oh man. So repeat those. You got Barry, Dion. Who else? Tyson.
Jordan, and Barry, Mike, Dion. That made me forget. Barry, Mike, Dion. Dang, who did I say? Barry, Mike, Dion. Oh, I'm tripping. Walter Payton.
Oh, Walter. Yeah. Okay.
And Barry, Mike, Dion, Walter Payton. Who was the other guy?
No, D Rose.
No, D Rose.
Yeah, Barry, Dion, Mike Tyson, Mike Jordan, and Walter Payton.
Walter Payton. Okay, yeah. Dang, I'm okay. I guess I was naming 5, but I was counting 4.
Yeah,
I must be tired. Right?
And then you got 2 honorable mentions. So,
yeah.
Okay. Good list. Al, what say you? Tell Dennis who your favorite 5, not necessarily the best, but your favorite 5 athletes of all time are.
Okay. Bernard King. Derek Jeter. Muhammad Ali. Magic.
Okay.
And like I gotta say Kobe. And it could grow because there's no cowboy on that list. But I still gotta represent the Mamba here and say Kobe.
Okay. Man, that's a damn good list. Any
honorable mentions?
Yeah.
Oh
man.
man.
Who got 2? You get 2 honorable mentions as well.
2 honorable mentions.
Yeah.
The Williams sisters.
Okay.
And that's 1. that's 1 mention.
Right.
I was even throw that in as 1. And I'll go with a cowboy here. So my favorite cowboy of all time will probably be Emmitt Smith.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So let's go the Williams sisters and Emmitt Smith as my honorable mentions. Yeah, but I mean, like, to me, what I love about the Williams sisters is beyond their collective excellence, their story is just one of the greatest stories ever. Just from the hard work side of the story, from the father side of the story, the coming from the hood side of the story, the big sister, how they've maintained the love through all of the high level competition that they have experienced in their careers, to the fact that the younger sister surpassed the bigger sister. Like, there's just so much in their story that I just love, and it's all been good, as far as I'm concerned. I just love the Williams sisters.
No doubt, absolutely. Damn good list. And by the way, Nuggets up 16 right now.
Okay, they
four,
shut me up.
yeah,
They shut. See, that's why I try to stay humble, man. I knew I shouldn't have went crazy with it. I should.
I mean, Lakers always have one of these games.
Yeah,
Denver,
and it ain't over.
Right, it ain't over. And Denver has shown that they ain't gonna quit. So,
right.
Yeah. So 16, they up 16. 3 minutes left in the second quarter. So it ain't
Okay.
halftime yet. Yeah. But yeah, good list. So mine, let me get mine. Mine would be Mike Tyson, Lawrence Taylor, LeBron, Darryl Strawberry, and Larry Johnson would be my 5 favorites. And my honorable mentions would be Frank Thomas and LeVon Kirkland.
The Big Hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was the second one?
LeVon Kirkland.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I've struggled, with LeVon Kirkland and Jerome Bettis, but ultimately I went with Kirkland. And because if I got to Jerome, I'd have to pick between him and Barry Sanders. So I just gave it to LeVon Kirkland. So yeah,
The bus.
So yeah, man, it's funny because like for me, the reason why most of these guys are my favorites is just because of the impact they had on my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're a kid or a teenager watching sports, and we talked about this before, just the impact and like the amazement you can have, like the with athletes, because for one, when we were kids, we didn't have access to our favorite athletes like a lot of kids do now. Through social media and interviews, TV, like we had to like catch them, during an interview once a year, and we're like, so go read Sports Illustrated where they did a feature on them. Like it was just a mystique around athletes and celebrities in general, but in this case, athletes that kind of added to the like just the mystique and the appeal of looking up to someone. And it's interesting, like LeBron being the only current athlete on this list for me, just because what he stands for. Not only of course I like him as an athlete, but what he stands for off the court and in society, as a husband, as a son, as a father. He's something that even someone older than him can look at as a role model, because he excels in life and just being a good person. So that's why he made the cut for me as the only current athlete on my list.
Yeah, I definitely think that's interesting how the players like the reason they are your favorite is because they do represent something special to you, or like why I'm in love with the Lakers is because of Magic Johnson.
Right.
And I look at Derek Jeter, and like for me, like in terms of like I was a Yankee fan, but he was the Yankee that brought us back to being great again.
Right.
Like a lot of my teenage years, the Yankees were struggling, so I kind of jumped on the bandwagon as they losing. So I was kind of like, damn, I finally now I'm a Yankee fan, and y'all don't want to win nothing. Right. But then Derek Jeter joins the team, and he's like just dominates for a decade or so. So it's like, it's a great question, just because I don't think I've ever actually put it on a list like who my favorites are.
Right.
So it's a definitely interesting question. Yeah.
Ali
I like
the list as well is because there's no pushback. I can't tell you who your favorites are. Like we go best, then we have all these arguments, and so I think just the genuineness of and the pureness of the conversation and the feelings around not being not having to I'm gonna have to argue about this. Just being able to speak freely about it. That's why I love this question.
Right. I do want to say this before we turn the page on it. The only player to ever get me to watch an inning of baseball is Kid Griffey Jr.
Okay.
Oh, he
So
should be on my list.
so I definitely want to put that out there. Like he's there. He's there for me.
Yeah.
Like the only baseball player that I've ever watched.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ken Griffey was amazing. And like if again, if we were going best, he's the best baseball player I've ever seen.
Right.
Like, in my lifetime,
Yeah.
best baseball player I've ever seen. But
And he's one of to your point, both of y'all point actually, is like he's one of those players that could be one of the greatest of all time and a lot of people's favorite of all time because he just had that type of personality and attraction to baseball fans and even the casual baseball fan. Right. He was just the type of dude you would want to kick it with, type of a player, and just hang out. And he's just exceptional at baseball. And his father was pretty good at it too. The thing about Ali, like he's probably my first, like he's probably the first athlete I was a fan of. Ali. Like he was that guy that was, as I'm like a 5, 6, 7-year-old, like my uncles, my brothers, like the people that are older than me are idolizing. So I'm just a fan by association, but I definitely, like, my first action figure was a Muhammad Ali doll, just because I know I should be playing with this guy. Like I'm a fan. Don't know what he does or why he's so great, but yeah, Ali. He was my first one.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, and I love Muhammad Ali, but again, the I think like impact on the sport is interesting. Me and Pooh and Mike Tyson, just because, like, of course Ali was retired by the time we came along, and boxing careers aren't that long, respective, in respect to other sports. And so it's amazing how, like, Muhammad Ali can have such an impact, on the sport and on the world, and then just less than a decade later, there's a whole new guy.
Yep. Who takes it to a whole nother level.
Right, exactly.
I mean, and that's what's so great about sports and technology and society is that, you mix those three things and you create just like a whole nother level. So it's like Michael took it to a whole new level from Magic and Larry Bird, but then as LeBron is coming onto the scene, he takes it to a whole new level because like social media now is playing a role in this, where Michael didn't have. Then you talk about access to players, like it wasn't to the same degree as what we're doing right now. So it's great to watch and to see these players have impact. And for those of us who are old enough to have seen, certain players in their prime, it's cool. But I didn't see Muhammad in his prime, to be honest. Right. Like by the time I'm really paying attention to boxing, I missed it. I missed it. Wow. Well, I saw him get his ass kicked.
Right.
That's what I was old enough to witness. Larry Holmes kick his ass. Like, why y'all like this Muhammad Ali dude?
Right. He all fat.
He just got beat up.
Just got an ugly mustache. I don't know why.
I don't get it. I swear I remember thinking that because my uncles, they were all big Muhammad Ali fans. So it's kind of like, I remember my dad going to watch it, going to watch some of his fights. He's just like, all right, yeah, Ali this man. He's this mythical character. But by the time I started watching it, he, like you said, fat, flabby, getting his ass kicked.
Wow. Yeah. But again, it's the impact, and again, the impact that you saw him have on your people.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I never saw Muhammad Ali. I didn't even see him get his ass whooped. But all of my attraction and love for Muhammad Ali came from my dad. Like that's his guy.
That's his guy.
Right. So I wouldn't, I never would have been on the Ali train at all if it wasn't for my dad. So, So it's interesting how, again, like you said, your big brothers and uncles and fathers can affect how athletes you pay attention to.
Man, I heard you talking about debates. You know, as the young Mike Tyson is coming into heavyweight, you know, and dominating for those early first couple of years, there was some real heated conversations about the Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, and who was better, and da da da. And because you know, Mike was the baddest man on the planet, and before social media, everybody knew about this Mike Tyson, his knockout dude. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like, can you imagine if Mike Tyson had Twitter?
Ooh, wow. Yeah, he would have been.
Yeah.
Like, then that's the whole thing. So Mike Tyson couldn't have existed now.
No.
Like,
absolutely not.
Like his behaviors, his attitude, like he would need a handler. Like, nah, man, you can't say that, bro.
Right, and that's the beauty of guys like Charles Barkley wouldn't have been able to exist today. But that's the beauty of like the era. Which is why I always say, like, Michael Jordan came along at the perfect time because we didn't have too much access to him, but he came along at the time that ESPN was just getting started, and he was their guy, and it was just enough access through ESPN where he could kind of filter how much access and not only how much access, but what type of access you got to him. Like, nobody, even to the point where, like, I remember seeing Michael Jordan smoking a cigar when I was a kid, but it didn't even register to me that, oh shit, Michael Jordan's smoking. You know what I'm saying? It didn't even register. It's just like, oh shit, that's a cool pic of Michael Jordan because everything he does is supposed to be cool, I guess. So it's those kind of things that timing can play a huge deal because who knows if Kobe came around when a lot of things that happened to him would not have been brought to light, would he be seen in the same light as a Michael Jordan?
Definitely. I think his perspective, his legacy would be. I mean, I think it's funny because I was talking with somebody about this a few months ago. I think Kobe's legacy, because he died early, is really going to be maybe better, honestly, because I think people are going to forget about some of the other stuff, right? But I think because of the time and era he came along, to your point, but when you combine the access of social media and internet and everything that's happening and kind of starting at that time, along with the change in society in terms of some of our views on certain issues, is different from when Michael was and Magic was coming up. Like, just we were in a different place as a society to where we judged Kobe and potentially a LeBron, anybody going past Kobe. Their standards are a little different.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and let's kind of wrap it up. Like, again, which speaks to just how hard it is, and a shout out to LeBron, because he does have social media to deal with and still has a spotless record. Outside of there's no scandals, no extra babies, no beating nobody. Like, it's nothing. I don't even think, like, LeBron never got caught speeding as far as we know. And so that's tough to do in today's day and age. And, like, to have that kind of discretion, because I ain't saying he's perfect, but he's got a perfect record. You know what I'm saying? So to have that kind of discretion, to know when and how to do, like, it's easy to get sloppy as a dude. And so for that dude never to get sloppy, kudos.
Shout out to him and the people in his life.
Right.
Because, how many times have somebody got caught, and the first thing that goes through my mind is, yo, with all the money you got, son,
right?
Like, why would you do it like that? You don't have to do it like that. You could be more discreet.
Right.
You could show more discipline, and you wouldn't have all these people knowing your business. And he's done it right. He's done it the right way.
Absolutely. And got drunk at the right places.
Hopefully at home, like how or in a controlled environment to where ain't nobody got no phones, like y'all signing non-disclosure agreements. However he making it happen.
Extra careful.
Good job. Extra careful. Yeah. Which allow him to be the king in terms of revenue. because the cleaner your record is, the more marketable you will be.
Yep. Oh, all right. Y'all ready for some trivia?
Yeah. Good question. Who was that?
Dennis. Man, my bad. Yeah, Dennis from Kernersville, North Carolina. Dennis, damn good question, man.
Great question.
Yeah, if y'all, if any of y'all got a question, if you disagree with anything we say, or if you want to get something off your chest, you can email us at GoDefyLife at info@GoDefyLife.com, or you can hit us up on social media at Go Defy Life, all platforms. Sorry, I'm pulling up this trivia. But yeah, so again, when we start going off on a tangent, man, for 30 minutes worth of a tangent, you asked a damn good question. So shout out to Dennis.
Great question.
All right, let me see here. This week's trivia, really simple. It was 2 categories, 5 questions each. Let me get it pulled up here. All right. All right. 2 categories. First one is sports firsts. So these are things that are first time happening in sports. Like, who's the first person to score a touchdown in NFL history. Like that kind of stuff. So these are sports first. And the second category will be presidential. So all questions involving presidents. Considering we're coming up on an election. So it'll just be presidential trivia. There are 2 double point questions. These are all ranked 1 through 5, but there are 2 double point questions in the game, 1 in sports first and 1 in presidential. So if you get those, you get double points for that question.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. Who won last week? Pooh beat me? No, Al beat me.
Yeah, I was about to, Al, and then I won before Al beat you.
Let's see. I don't know.
I do.
Al, huh?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I do want to say I don't feel too confident about this, but go ahead.
No? Well, you get to go first then. Way to throw in your
Go on, get it out the way.
Hey, Al, I don't feel too confident about these topics.
Hey, I'm with you, Pooh, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
Like who scored the first touchdown had me shook. Like in this example, I was like,
well, it ain't gonna be that extreme, but I just wanted to. I didn't want to wait to answer.
We got the.
Who was the first NFL fan of the Chicago Bears?
Right. We gonna go ahead and give it the old college try.
Right. I mean, Pooh, you did garner some some guilt from me by making this too hard. So you did speak up. So you get to go first.
True.
Man, I feel sorry for you. All right, which one you want to go with?
Let me go sports first for the tray.
Sports you first for the tray, right? And this is the double point question.
Yeah.
So for 6 points, who was the first black manager in NFL in Major League Baseball history?
Dusty Baker.
Wow.
Good guess.
Can I steal it? Can I steal it?
You cannot. But if you know it, you can let us know.
I'm not sure, but I'm guessing Frank Robinson.
It was Frank Robinson. Absolutely.
Okay.
Damn. All right. Al, on you.
Let me do sports first for 4.
Sports first for 4. Which president has thrown the most first pitches at Major League Baseball games? 5.
Living president or just of
3.
all time?
All time.
Oh, wow, all time.
3.
I'm still gonna go with George Bush.
Oh, George Bush is
I-
incorrect. He was
I
actually.
would say Ronald Reagan.
It was incorrect as well. George Bush was third, actually. Franklin D. Roosevelt with 11.
Okay.
11 different
Wow.
times he threw out the first pitch. Yep.
Wow. I was thinking because I know he's a big time athlete. Was what's his name? Dang, I just said his name. I just went blank. Oh man, what president I said?
Reagan.
Reagan. Yeah, Ronald. Yeah. He was an athlete. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah. But by the time Reagan got in office, he was old.
That's true.
He was not an athlete.
Right. Like he was old. He had dementia.
His athletic days was
rheumatism, all
far
kind of-
behind.
yeah.
Right.
Oh man. All right, Al, on you.
There's
There
was
on you. I'm sorry. Pooh on you.
Hey, let me go sports first for 5.
Sports first for 5. Who was the first woman to dunk in a college basketball game?
First woman to dunk in a college basketball game. What's the girl name?
5, 4, 3.
Lisa Leslie.
Lisa Leslie is incorrect.
Oh,
Al, you know this?
Son. Is it Brittany?
It's not
Brittany Griner?
No, not
Wasn't
Brittany Griner. It was actually I didn't even know this. I thought it was going to be
Oh.
Lisa Leslie or Brittany Griner, to tell you the truth. It was the first woman to dunk in a college basketball game was Georgianne Wells for West Virginia against University of Charleston. She played for West Virginia, December 21st, 1984. I didn't even know it had been that long. Yeah,
how tall is she? Did it say?
6'4".
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So, just a quick aside, Franklin D. Roosevelt might have been, if I really, we had thought about it, it makes sense. He's the president who served 4 terms.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So when you serve 16 years, you might have the opportunity
Absolutely.
to throw
Yes.
out the most
Right.
down.
Yeah. And
Right.
he's the only president to serve more than 2. So,
Correct.
Right.
They had to change the rules for that.
Right.
Like, we trying to make these like a king up in this motherfucker.
Exactly.
Right.
You got to get out, buddy.
But
Right.
you're either really great or really bad if they change the rules for you.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Which
All right.
makes me think we need to come up with some Trump rules because
Oh, my
he's been
God.
that bad.
Can we-
But
can
anyway,
it be like 2
I don't want to
months?
hijack the trivia. I don't wanna
No, you good. All right, Al, it's on you.
Let's go presidential for 4.
Mm.
Presidential for 4. This is the double point question.
Wow.
All right. There are actually 2 answers to this one.
Mm.
Who is the tallest president in history, and who is the shortest president in history?
Mm.
And I got to get them both to get the points.
You got to get them both to get the points.
Oh.
And you don't have to give me their heights. Just give me the name.
Oh. I'm going to go with Abraham Lincoln as the tallest.
That is correct.
Mm. Good one.
And the shortest.
Mm.
I'm going to go with Ulysses Grant.
Not quite. The tallest was Abraham Lincoln at 6'4". The shortest is James Madison at 5'4".
Damn.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right, Pooh, on you. I'm waiting for somebody to get a point.
I was about to say, I don't think anybody scored
Yeah.
yet. Huh?
Let me do sports for 1, man. This got to be a gimme.
All right. Sports first. These 2 teams played in Super Bowl I. It wouldn't be a shocker if they were to meet in this year's big game as well.
Super Bowl 1, bro. I done totally forgot.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
5, 4,
Okay.
3, 2.
Green Bay and the Chiefs.
That is correct. Green Bay and the Kansas City Chiefs. Yep. All right. Pooh has jumped out to a 1-point lead. Al.
Let me do sports for 2. Let me see if I can double them up.
Right.
Well, let's see if you know this. This is going to be fun. Kobe Bryant scored the first points of his NBA career by way of a dunk, a 3-pointer, or a free throw.
Free throw.
That's incorrect. His first points in the NBA were 3-point play. Or 3-pointer. 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
All right. That is all of sports.
Let me go president for one. Let me get another gimme.
All right. Which president also served as? Which president is the only president to serve also as Supreme Court Chief Justice?
Dude, I have no clue. Go ahead and tell me.
Oh wow, William Taft.
William Taft. Okay.
All right.
Wow. Was that like? I guess that was after he was president. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's left? 2, 3, and 5.
2,
2,
3,
3,
and 5.
yeah. 2, 3, and 5. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Damn. Let me try 5.
Yeah.
5. All right. Who was the first president to be born in the United States?
Huh? Oh, okay. I get you. I get you. I don't even know. Let me go with Andrew Jackson. I don't know.
Jackson is incorrect. Close though. Martin Van Buren, the 8th president, was in.
Van Buren.
Yeah, he was not a British subject. He was the first one to be born in the U.S.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a U.S. citizen. You don't have to be born in this country to be the president.
Right.
Let me go on and jump out. Let me try 2, man.
All right. See if you know this one.
Yeah, let's see if I know
Presidential
it.
for 2. Which president played center for the University of Michigan football and turned down a contract with the Green Bay Packers to pursue his law degree at Yale?
Wow.
Read that again now. Read that again.
Which president played center for the University of Michigan football team and turned down a contract with the Green Bay Packers to pursue his law degree at Yale? So he was pretty damn good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Roosevelt.
Oh, no, sir. That would be Gerald Ford.
Gerald Ford.
Gerald Ford was an All-American center at Michigan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Totally didn't know that.
Vince Lombardi and the Packers offered him a contract, and he declined it to take a coaching job at Yale so he could apply for law school there.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Al, to win the game.
All right.
That's pressure.
Clutch.
Which president of our lifetime was born hearing impaired and had to wear hearing aids most of his life?
I'm going to go with George W. The first Bush, George Bush.
That is incorrect. Who is the correct answer is Bill Clinton. I did not.
Oh
know
wow!
That. Yeah.
Wow!
I did not know that either. Yeah, he's born with hearing impairment, and he still wears hearing aids.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess y'all were right. Considering Pooh, you won 1-0, these must have been too damn hard. But at least somebody won.
1-0.
Nah, they weren't that bad. I just flat out didn't have a clue.
Okay, I feel like regular Scott.
No.
Oh man, well, Pooh, you won, man. What you got for me? What's your parting shot?
Hey, man, you already know what it is. Waiting on week 3. You know, last Thursday night. I don't even know who playing again. Jacksonville and someone, but I'm so eager to see it. Let's go, man. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacksonville's one of those gonna be like interesting teams, man. And,
They are
putting up points. It's kind of it's fun. It'll be fun to check them out.
Yeah. No, they are.
Yeah.
The undrafted kid he's really good.
Yeah. So it should be fun to watch them. Al, what you got for me? What's your party shots?
I'm gonna keep it football too. Like I think my parting shot is because of the injuries and just lack of typical preparation. It's gonna be a lot of stories that you didn't expect and teams you didn't expect they're gonna do well. So that being said, this Cowboy win is one to build on, and I think going into a game like Seattle, while even Cowboy fans aren't expecting to win, I think this is just the type of game where in this type of season the Cowboys can pull off a miracle and beat Russ. So I'm looking forward to this week of games, and just that win just got me just hyped, and not even just because I'm now we going to the Super Bowl, but just more just it just reminds me how exciting the game is and how funky and weird it can be, and just the greatness of sports, just in how it can keep you interested, and the smack talking that occurred and just all of that. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be different this season because so much of football is social and hanging out with other people watching it. So it's going to be curious to see what Super Bowl parties look like during the pandemic. Right. It's going to be virtual Super Bowl parties, watching it on Zoom or something like that, and everybody, who knows what it's going to be like. But either way, I'm glad it's here. And so, yeah, have a good week, man. Enjoy the show.
Damn right. Ain't got nothing. Definitely, ditto and applause and damn right to everything y'all just said. I'm excited. We have a quarterback again, and we are 2-0, so I'm excited. But just want to give a shout out, man. I made a quick trip home last week. Didn't really get to see nobody, but it was just a little quick trip. Had to do some stuff in my pop's house in Newberry while he's recovering in the hospital, out of the hospital. He's in physical therapy now. So stuff he just can't do around the house. So I had to go do some stuff at the house and take him some stuff and while he's in the facility. So while I was there, I was about a few miles away from Nothing But Wings to check out. So I went and checked out Kim and Tyrone. Pooh, sorry I didn't get to check you out, man. I know you were still in school. It was in the middle of the day. But I'm going to be back down there soon, so I'll make sure I hook up with you. But yeah, so it was, I get there and, it's raining like crazy. So I caught it at a good time because it wasn't really, people, it's people, there's no place to go in. You pick up at the window. So people were really, nobody was really outside. So I caught them at a good time because I was able to walk right up to the window and I was like, yeah, I'm looking for Kim or Tyrone. And of course, everybody got on masks. You can't really identify anybody. And so the guy behind the window, I said, yeah, hold on, who is it? I was like, it's Jay. Oh, shit, Jay, it's Kenny. Kenny, who filled in for Lynn on Anything, Everything, and Nothing when Lynn was out. So Kenny that was on with Kim for a few weeks. I was like, oh, shit, Kenny, I ain't recognize you. You got your mask on. He was like, man, you got your mask? I was like, yeah. So I went on in. And Kim didn't even recognize who I was. I had a mask on. And then about 3 seconds later, she was like, oh, my gosh. She started crying. So it was great, man, to see her. Tyrone walked in a few minutes after that. But I say all of that to get to the good part. So they was like, what you want? I was like, well, shit, let me put an order in. So I got 20 jerk wings. Jerk wings, when they're done right, are my favorite. So I was like, let me put y'all to the ultimate test. So I got 20 jerk wings and order fries. And, it was, I didn't want to stay in everybody's way. So, had a few, had a conversation with Cam and Tyrone and Kenny. And Kenny also let us know that we want him to come on the show to let him know. Kenny's the president of a bank. So if we ever do another financial literacy show, he'd be a perfect guy for us to talk to.
He's the president of a bank?
Yes. Yeah.
That's dope.
Right. So, So he's able to help Kim out around the restaurant as well, because of course, president of a bank, you kind of set your own hours, so it's good. So he can help them out. So first of all, proud of them, and so I was like, okay, wrapped up my conversation with them, and I was like, all right, I get in the truck, and I'm like, let me try one of these wings before I leave. I was on the way to go see my uncle, at his business, so I was like, let me try one of these wings, and I just ride and eat the rest of them. Yo, 15 minutes later, I'm still sitting there eating wings. I couldn't even move, you know. So they blew up my taste buds, man. Shout out to Kim and Tyrone. Kim's mom was in there making potato salad, like it was, Kenny, everybody that was there. But I'm proud of y'all. I put y'all to the ultimate test, popped up on you and told you to give me some jerk wings. So they did that. So
That's what's up.
yeah. So shout out to Nothing But Wings, and also shout out to our very own Hollywood Paul. Hollywood Paul has put together a comedy show here in Winston for this weekend Sunday. So, and he's gonna film he's filming it like a movie. So
okay.
yeah, so it will be a stand-up comedy movie that Paul has put together. Proud of that guy, man. He you talked to him yesterday. He was like, man, his words. He said, man, when you almost died from COVID and you came back still running Defy Life, I figured I got to do some shit. So any way I can inspire you Hollywood. But if that's what it takes, man, so be it. But so he will be filming it, and it will be our once everything is filmed and wrapped. His comedy special will be the first pay-per-view streaming feature on Go Defy Life. So shout out to Paul.
Oh, that's dope.
Right. So
that's what's up. Yeah.
So it's going to be fun. So I'll be there in the audience and to support him. So it's going to be good stuff.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. That's all I got. Great show, guys. We definitely talk to most of you tomorrow. I know most of you kind of, drifted over and listened to us again for a second time during the week. So this has been the Defy Life Podcast. But we'll talk to y'all again tomorrow, I guess, on One Eye Shut. And if not, we'll talk to y'all next week. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Medicine Podcast with Simba, sparking positive change in the community, having real conversations and therapy. You know that laughter's the best remedy. Got that heavy dose of humor for your hearts to heal. With mental health, it can't get any more real. Yeah. Best Medicine Podcast. Laugh, love, learn. Best Medicine Podcast.
Best Med Pod, it's your man Simba Roar back in this thing one more time, bruh. Come get your weekly diagnosis Thursday at midnight, only on the Defy Life Podcast Network. Check us out, though.